Good morning and welcome to another edition of Inside Cape Cod. I'm Mina Greene. I have the pleasure of speaking with the co-founder and CEO of the nonprofit Behavioral Health Innovators. Well, good morning to Stephanie Briody. Good morning, Stephanie.
Good morning. Nice to be here.
It's wonderful. I found your nonprofit very fascinating, and you help an unusual population that's most of the time overlooked. And I'm just fascinated by what you do. It's called Behavioral Health Innovators. Do you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. So Behavioral Health Innovators is a nonprofit we started in 2015 to serve the 24 and under population, but primarily now it's the 18 and under population, and those young people who have mental health challenges and related substance use challenges, and they kind of go hand in hand. And one of the best ways kind of to explain our organization is we really are looking for people with lived experience, so in our case it's teenagers, 18 and under, to explain like what they need in the community for support around those issues. There's a huge rise in substance use on the Cape and everywhere, and also the acuity of the mental health concerns has really increased since COVID. And peers, young people are really worried about their friends. So we really work with young people in various stages of our programming and services. So the first bucket I'll talk about is really kind of the prevention awareness bucket of services and programs. For example, we worked with Monomoy Regional High School students, the 10th graders, training them to be wellness coaches for the 6th graders in the Monomoy Regional Middle School. And these two cohorts have met, I think, about 4 to 6 times already this year. And the idea was created really by teachers at Monomoy, and we stepped in to facilitate this. And so that the 6th graders, when they end up going to 8th grade, they're in the high school in 8th grade, they'll have a 12th grader now that they know and that they have had a relationship with in terms of, just kind of a big brother, big sister, peer mentor, but really around the wellness issues. So that's just an example of one of the programs we do in that first bucket. And then in the second bucket, we created a program called Positive Alternatives for Student Support. And it was initially created as positive alternatives to suspension, but we got rid of that whole punitive kind of energy around it, and we're focused on student supports. And this is a program, it's a brief intervention and referral to services. It's 3 to 5 days. It takes place outside of school. So when a student either is facing suspension or has a need for mental health or substance use support, their school can send them to the PASS program. And it doesn't count as a suspension if that's the circumstance in which they're referred, and the school doesn't need to report it as a suspension. And what happens at PASS is really remarkable, and I'd say that about all the programs, but really remarkable because it's a triggerless environment. The students come and they're outside of school, and they are much more readily inclined to self-identify and disclose any of their challenges. And honestly, 70% who come to us are assessed by all of them are assessed by a clinician from Outer Cape Health Services. 70% are presenting with substance use concerns and 80% with mental health concerns. And the more telling kind of statistic is, of those students, not even a third are getting services when they come to the program. So it's really kind of a grab them and redirect them and plug them into services. And then the last bucket is one of the services we plug them into. So that 70% that have substance use concerns can go right into this 6-month after-school, 2-day-a-week program called the Alternative Peer Group Program, APG for short. And that's a program together with Duffy Health Center. They're our partner in the program. Students who come, to the program, they experience peers and similarly situated, and they get the support from a licensed counselor, family support person to start creating their own successes in their pathway of recovery. So it's a remarkable program, and the exciting piece of that is many of the students that graduate from that 6-month program come back as peer mentors, so volunteer peer mentors, and they model what their recovery looks like and their younger counterparts' recovery could look like if they kind of stick with the program.
That is
So that's kind of it in a nutshell.
That is beautiful that you start early with the kids that might be having some problems, like in 6th grade. And you have a very good success rate from what I understand.
Yes, so we've brought in the past program, so that opened in Centerville in May 2022, and over 200 students have come through that program. 13 school districts send students to the program. And in fact, last week, 2 students from Nantucket High School were escorted on the ferry with a transit monitor and got to program and got back. And we got a great testimonial from one of the parents saying her son was able to open up and connect with the people at the past program, not dissing anybody at school, but just it's the environment that allows them to kind of let their hair down and unbottle whatever's going on. And she was so appreciative, and they're trying to find somebody on the island now that her son can speak with.
This is a really wonderful, wonderful program, and I don't think I've ever heard of anything like it, quite frankly.
No, so I have to give kudos to Michelle Lipinski. So she is the principal of, there are 5 recovery high schools in Massachusetts, and she's the principal of the one in Beverly on the North Shore. She created Positive Alternative to School Suspension in 2018 up on the North Shore, and I was at a conference and learned about the program. And Cape Cod doesn't have anything.
Right.
They don't have treatment centers for 18 and under with substance use disorder. They don't have anything when kids who go to treatment off Cape come back to Cape. So, we started the Alternative Peer Group program for that reason. We'd love to start a recovery high school here, but it's just we're building things organically, and what works for Cape Cod and what works for the North Shore are sometimes very different.
Yes, they are. And you have some wonderful fundraisers coming up. Do you want to share some of that?
Sure. So we have a Dink It Forward pickleball tournament on June 1st, and it's at the Marston Mills Pickleball Courts. And it's a round robin, and you can register on pickleball brackets, but it can still go on our website, bhinnov.org, and donate or support in any way or come by. We're still looking for some healthy snacks if anybody wants to donate healthy snacks to the pickleball tournament. But yes, and our biggest fundraiser has been winter dips. So from November to the end of April, we jump in cold water and raise money for the APG program through that experience, which we think is very similar to asking young people to stop using substances. It's very tough to do.
So are you looking for sponsors for your pickleball?
We are, and anybody, any food sponsors, any other sponsors, and obviously any donations are welcome. The money goes straight to program. We have an all-volunteer board. We've been at this it'll be 10 years next year, which is exciting.
Wow. And this is the first time I'm hearing of it. That's crazy. But I'm so glad that we get to be on here and we get to talk about it, because this has been such an overlooked population for so long. And you don't want to think about kids under 18 are suffering from substance abuse. You don't want to think about it, but it exists. And how long have you been with this program?
We started the nonprofit in 2015, but we opened the Alternative Peer Group program, the one with Duffy Health Center, in April 2018. And honestly, it really requires so many community partnerships. So we partnered with DY High School. They got a bus to get the kids from school to program, and not only to program, but home to their homes after program. So we're working with the CRTA to get kids to the PASS program. They're coming from Falmouth, which is quite a haul. They're coming from Nauset, and it's in Centerville. So there's lots of moving pieces and lots of challenges that we've had to kind of work through. But we're really excited because this population is asking us, when we talk to young people, they're asking us, could you help us help our friends? Yes. We're really worried about our friends.
And they are. And it's just, how could anybody turn you down if you went to them and asked them for their support? This is just, as I said, it's innovative. It's serving a population that has been unheard, basically, for quite some time, young people, 18 and under. And I think it's fantastic. So the tournaments are on Saturday, June 1st, with a rain date of the 2nd. Is that correct?
Correct.
And that's being held?
At the Marston Mills Pickleball Courts in Barnstable.
Good. I just wanted to get that out there one more time. So when is registration?
They register online, and I don't know, they may be full in terms of the players, but certainly people can come and watch and learn more about program and sponsor
support.
and do all that. Exactly.
That's great. Now, you have a gold sponsorship.
We do.
The Cape Cod 5. You get your company name on the T-shirt with the tourney name and Facebook shout-out posting on your website and sponsor page, business banner, and shout-outs. It's great. And then you can go down. That's for $1,000. Then the silver is $500. Again, company name on the T-shirt. And then it goes down to the bronze for $250. You can get your company name on the T-shirt, Facebook shout-out, posting on your website, BHI website, and the sponsor page. And in the event, of course, the day of the event, everybody gets shout-outs. So
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's exciting. And, there's so much more that needs to be done for this population. And the last thing I'll say is the county, so substance use, as everybody knows, is on the rise for all populations on the Cape. And last time they did an assessment in 2015 of the cost of substance use in Barnstable County, and then they did one last year. It was over like $44 million for the treatment end of the spectrum, and only, I think it was maybe $2 million was spent on prevention. So we're trying to get ahead, like upstream of the whole problem of addiction. Like really, we can get kids, I don't want to say sober, but if we can get them on a path of recovery before they're 18, they have so many more years of life to live and offer. And it's so hard when, you're 40 and you're still struggling with this substance use dependence. And, if you can get the monkey off your back sooner rather than later, it just opens up a whole new world for these young people.
It does. And the sooner we can help them realize that, the better off, as you say, they're going to be. They're going to be much better adults. It's just because sometimes life gets really unfair for that population. Everything changing. I mean, it certainly isn't the way, I'm going to say, when I was growing up. We didn't have any of the internet influence, and we didn't have any of the access to all of this electronic things. And so I had very simple, happy childhood, because when we were told to go out and play, we knew what that meant. Unfortunately, you say that nowadays and they look at you like, what do you mean? Go out and play and do what? So, and again, my feeling is much like yours. The sooner that we can address this problem with the younger children, the better off they're going to be and the better people they're going to become, and they're going to feel so much better about themselves. Because now with social media and everything else, I feel that like they're not worthy, or they just don't, if they don't have the proper cell phones and they don't have this, that, and the other, there's so much more pressure than when I was in junior high school. And it's very sad that this is what it's come to, but to have this outlet for them, and it sounds like everybody's jumped on board with this. How many schools did you say are involved?
13. Most of the schools along that same point that you made about getting them early wants us to open a middle school pass program. So this would be for the 5th, 6th, 7th grade population.
Excellent.
To get them the supports they need outside of school, just like the high school one. So we're piloting that in the fall with, I think it's Falmouth, DY, Monomoy, and Barnstable.
Well, kudos to those schools for getting involved with this.
Yeah, exactly. We need everybody on board. And I can't say enough, too, about parents and people that are the adults in their lives to really model wellness tools, because that's really what kind of throws Cape Cod off kilter, especially in the summer. So many adults are partying. Not that they can't party, they're allowed to party, but there's a narrative that we need to kind of rewrite, or at least edit. So young people don't think that that's the be-all, end-all, partying.
Exactly. It's just an amazing thing that you are doing, and I was so fascinated when this came across my desk that I had to reach out. And I think that this is going to be a wonderful event for everybody involved. Now, where is it going to be held again? I know you keep telling me, but what it's going to be held?
It's okay. So it's the town of Barnstable, but it's the village of Marston Mills. That's Marston Mills Pickleball Courts. Yeah. And
on the Upper Cape
that's
here.
In Barnstable.
Yes, it's on the Upper Cape here. And it's on Saturday, June 1st, so people want to come out and support and cheer on these young people and anybody on the pickleball court, and the men, and you've got men and women's doubles.
Yes.
Okay. Those are separate divisions, so that'll be fun.
And they're in like the top tier. I don't know a lot about pickleball. I keep saying I'm one of the pickles still in the brine. I'm very early to pickleball.
So am I.
But these people are like in the elite division, so it should be a great thing to watch. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, it starts, the intermediate starts at 12 noon, and then the advanced starts at 3. And as you said, you think that the participants are already all in line and set up for this.
I think the brackets are full by now, but they can still go on pickleball brackets and check, and they can still come. I guess people could not show up or something, but this is my first kind of experience in running a pickleball tournament. But we're going to continue it because people seem to love dinking that ball forward.
Yes, Dink It Forward. That is the name of this event. And I was going to get around to asking you why Dink It Forward, but I get it now. I get it.
Because it's unlike tennis, Mina, you don't smash the ball. You have to, it's almost like, ping pong, but even in ping pong, they smash it. You don't really smash it. You dink it. You just tap it.
That's amazing. I know. I've seen people do it. It's actually fascinating. Where my father-in-law lived, they had a place right next door, and it was an apartment complex, and all the people were hanging out the windows to watch the pickleball tournaments, and just the people at the country club playing. And it was all very fascinating to me. I saw that when I was down in New York, and I was like, wow, that really does look interesting. And then I found myself hanging out the window of his apartment. So it's a lot of fun to watch. And I don't know, maybe it's easier than tennis. I don't know, but so many people are into it and they love it.
I think it's somehow more accessible. I don't know if it's easier, but more accessible
yes.
to a broader population. Yeah, and I have to thank our volunteers. Amazing Sarah Grizzle, who owns the Dockside concession in Harwich. Visit Dockside. She's just amazing. She's gathered so many sponsors and volunteers to help out. And, as we say on the Cape, we're all in this together. And
yes.
We need each other.
We certainly do, especially for events like this, and just recognizing, I'm very proud of us for recognizing there is this problem and for taking care of it, taking the steps to make sure that we can help these kids and people. So
I agree. At the school, I'm so grateful to the schools for picking their heads up because they're so busy and thinking outside of the box and working with us on these programs and services.
So the people can go to your website?
Yes, BHINNOV.org.
And they can get all the information they need.
They can. And I have to urge parents, like if you're concerned about your child's substance use, just call the APG program, and I can give you that number.
Sure.
It's 774-487-5227. Just call. The worst thing that can happen is they'll tell you they don't have a substance use problem. But in my experience, that's not typically what is going on. So parents are usually the last to want to know.
Right.
So they kind of put their heads in the sand, and it's a hard thing to face. And it's, you kind of wish it away, pray it away, but don't. Just take the step. If you can get ahead of this when they're young and you still have them under your roof, the chances of them avoiding addiction down the road is so much greater.
Well, Stephanie, I want to thank you so much for your time this morning. You've given us a lot of information, and you've definitely educated me on problems that I was not sure of. I don't have any little ones, unfortunately, but I want to protect them just as much as anybody else does as a grown-up and a woman, and this is amazing. So I want to thank you again for your time, Stephanie. I've been speaking with Stephanie Briody. She is the co-founder and CEO of the nonprofit Behavioral Health Innovators and their wonderful pickleball event coming up on June 1st. It's called Dink It Forward. So thank you so much, Stephanie, for your time.
Thank you, Mina. Have a great day.
You too. And that's going to do it for this edition of Inside Cape Cod, heard every Sunday morning at this time on all 4 of our Coxswain media stations. Until next time, I'm Mina Greene.